In this lesson today, we are going to convert an equation of a circle from general form to standard form by completing the square. So we're doing standard 7C, which says write and graph the equation of circles in standard or general form. Convert equations written in general form to standard form when the leading coefficient is 1. So today we will complete the square to find the center and radius of a circle given by an equation. So completing the squares is something you should have done last year in Algebra 1, but it's a process to find a new constant that creates a perfect square trinomial that's factorable. We can use completing the square to write circles in standard form. So what we're going to be looking for is this number here, and the way we're going to get it is we're going to divide this coefficient 6 by 2, which is 6 divided by 2. Then we're going to square it and stick it back up there in that box. Okay, knowing that x plus 3 squared is x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay, so we're going to build this one step at a time. So we're going to do a couple things here first. So it says complete the square. So what we're going to do again is we're going to take this coefficient right here, we're going to divide it by 2, and we're going to put our x plus whatever that is. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, so this is going to be plus 2, and then we're squaring that, and we're going to then take 2 squared and put it back up here in that box right there, 4. Now, once again, x plus 2 squared is 4. So when we're talking about this expression right here, if we were to do that, x plus 2 times x plus 2, it would equal this equation up here, x squared plus 4x plus 4. Okay, so once again over here, we're going to divide the negative 10 by 2, and that's going to be x minus 5, because negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5, squared. Then we're going to multiply again the negative 5 times itself. Negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. Okay, this is the way it works. All right, once again, for our u tries 1a and b, we're going to divide 2 by 2, so that's going to be x plus 1 squared, and then 1 times 1 is 1. That's what goes up in that blank. Here again, divide negative 16 by 2, and that's going to give us x minus 8 squared, and then negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 8 is 64. Now go ahead and do the 2 at the bottom on your own. Pause the video and come back to me when you're done. Going to divide the negative 8 by 2, so this is going to be x minus 4 squared, and negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Remember, this third term is always going to be positive, because whether you square a positive or a negative, you get a positive. So 24 divided by 2, this is going to be x plus 12 squared, and 12 times 12 is 144. Okay, and we're going to take it one step further. Okay, so let me see if I can pull this up or down. Let me see if I can pull this down. Okay, so once again, same process, y'all. Dividing the negative 2 by 2, that's going to give us x minus 1 squared. Square that negative 1, and that's going to give you 1, right? And then we're going to do this other side over here too now with our y. So we're going to do negative 6 divided by 2. That's going to give us y minus 3 squared. And then negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. So you guys see the process? 8 divided by 2. This is x plus 4 squared. 4 times 4 is 16. That's what goes in the blank. Then over here, negative 14 divided by 2, that's y minus 7 squared, and negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. So go ahead and do the next 4 and come back to me when you're done. So the more you do something, the better you get at it, right? So divide this by 2, x minus 10. 10 times 10 is 100, right? Divide the 10 by 2, that's going to be y plus 5 squared, and 5 times 5 is 25, okay? Keep going, 32 divided by 2, so that's going to be x plus 16 squared. 16 times 16 is 256. Then we've got negative 16 divided by 2 is y minus 8 squared, and negative 8 times negative 8 is 64. A couple more down here. So we got our u tries a and b. So here again, 26 divided by 2, this is going to be x plus 13 squared, and 13 times 13 is 169. We got our 4 here, divide it by 2, this is going to be y plus 4 squared. No, sorry, 2. because 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, then here again, divide the negative 4 by 2. This is going to be x minus 2 squared. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. And then 12 divided by 2, so this is going to be y plus 6 squared, and 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, so that's our process that we're going to use, and we're going to add a couple steps to it on the back, but that's our process. Okay, so it says complete the square to find the center and radius of the circle given by the equation. So a little bit different here because now we have all our x's and y's mixed together along with a constant. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create two sets of parentheses, and we're going to move our constant to the other side of the equal sign. Okay, so we're going to put all our x's in the left set of parentheses. So we got our x squared here, and we got our negative 2x. And then we're going to create our blank that we had before. Okay, doing the same thing with our y's. So we got our y squared and our 4y. And again, we're going to create our blank, which we had before. Okay, now we're going to move this one to the other side, which means we would subtract 1 from both sides. So it ends up being a negative 1 over here. Now I am going to tell you to add 2 more steps. So what I want to say to you is you want to add those 2 blanks, add 2 blanks on the right that you added to the left. Now this is going to help eliminate a common error. Okay, so I'm suggesting you do this now. So now we're going to do the rest of the steps, and we're going to do them under step 5. It says divide the middle number by 2. So this is something we are accustomed to doing, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put these in parentheses here like this. We know there's going to be x there, and there's going to be a y there, right? Okay, so divide the middle number by 2. So when we divide this number by 2, we get minus 1, right? And then we square that number when we put it back up there. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. Here's the thing. Whatever you add on the left, you have to add on the right. So that's why I created that other blank. Okay, so now here we're dividing the 4 by 2. So that's going to give us plus 2 down here. And 2 times 2 is 4. So we add that 4 up there and we add it here. Now hopefully you notice that we have a negative 1 and a positive 1. So these two are going to cancel each other out, right? And so what are we left with over there? 4. So the next thing it says to us is pull the center and radius from the equation. So remember, we pull the two numbers, but we change the signs, okay? So that means for our center, we're going to have, if my pen will write, positive 1 and negative 4. And for our radius, remember, we're going to take the square root of 4. So that's going to be equal to 2, okay? So here again, we're going to do the same process. We're going to create our sets of parentheses. Okay, we're going to put all our x's in one set of parentheses with our blank, and we're going to do the same thing with our y's. We're going to move that 4 to the other side by subtracting it, so this is going to be minus 4 over here. And I'm going to go ahead and add my 2 blanks that I'm going to fill with whatever I put on the left. Okay, so remember, we're dividing this by 2, so this is going to be x minus 3 squared. So what goes in that blank up there? Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, so we're putting a 9 over here as well. Okay, then on the other side, once again, we're going to divide the negative 4 by 2. So that's going to give us plus y minus 2 squared. And negative 2 times negative 2 is 4, so we're going to add that 4 over to there. Once again, hopefully you see that we have a 4 and a negative 4, so they're going to cancel each other out. So we're going to be left with 9 over here. Okay, so our center, remember, pull the numbers, change the sign. So that's a positive 3 and a positive 2. And our radius is going to be the square root of 9, which is equal to 3. Okay, so go ahead and do this next one and come back to me when you're done. So here again, we create our 2 sets of parentheses. We're going to do x squared plus 8x plus blank, y squared minus 2y plus blank. Going to move the 8 to the other side by adding it. So we've got a positive 8 now, plus our blank, plus our blank. Okay, once again, going to create 2 sets of parentheses down here for our x equation and our y equation. Okay, We're going to divide the 8 by 2, so that's going to give us x plus 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Remember to add it to the other side. And we're going to divide our 2 by 2. That's going to give us minus 1. Minus 1 plus minus 1 is, or minus 1 times minus 1 is 1. So 1. So that's going to be 25. So once again, our center, pull the numbers, change the signs. Negative 4, positive 1. And our radius is going to be the square root of 25, which is 5. Okay? All right, so this next one's a little bit different. It says write the equation of this circle in standard form, identify the center and radius. Now, what we have to do this time is notice that there's a 2 in front of the x squared, so that means we got to divide everything by 2 first, okay? So that's what we're going to do first, and that's going to give us x squared plus 12x equals, no, sorry, not 12x, divide 12 by 2, that's 6x, right? Okay, 6x equals 8y minus y squared. Now, we're going to move everything to the left, and that will leave us a 0 on the right. Okay, so that means we're going to subtract the 8y, and we're going to add the y squared. So this is going to give us x squared plus 6x minus 8y plus y squared is equal to 0. Now we're going to create our parentheses. Same parentheses we created before. We're going to put all our x's in one set of parentheses and all our y's in the other, okay? So that's going to give us x squared plus 6x plus blank. And then we got our y squared minus 8y plus blank. And remember again, we're going to add those blanks to the other side. So what is 6 divided by 2, y'all? Is going to be x plus 3 squared. 3 plus 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So that's 9 right there. Plus our y, divide that by 2. That's going to be negative 4 squared. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Plus 16. So this is going to be 25. So what's our radius? Our center. Let's do our center first. Okay, our center is going to be negative 3, positive 4. Remember, when you pull the numbers, you change the signs. And our radius is going to be equal to 5 because that's the square root of 25. All right, let's see if you can do the next two. Come back to me when you're done. So this one's pretty easy because it's already, everything's on the left, right? So we're going to just do our 2 sets of parentheses. So we've got x squared minus 10x plus blank. We've got our y squared minus 16y plus blank. And we're going to move that 88, so it's going to be a negative 88 plus blank, okay? So here again, we're going to divide the negative 10 by 2, so this is going to be x minus 5 squared, so negative 5 times negative 5, 25. So we got to add that 25 to both sides, remember. Now we're going to divide the negative 16, so that's going to be y minus 8 by 2, right? And negative 8 times negative 8 is 64, so add 64 to both sides. So 25 plus 64 is 89. 89 minus 88 is, guess what? 1. So what's our center? Remember, pull the numbers opposite. So this is going to be positive 5, positive 8. And our radius is going to be the square root of 1, which is 1. All right, here's our last one. What do you notice about this one? Again, there's a number in front of the x squared, isn't there? You guys see that? So if there's a number in front of the x squared, we're going to divide the whole thing by that number, 3. When we do that, we're going to get x squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 2y plus 1 equals 0. So now we're going to do our same process we've been doing. Okay, so we've got x squared plus 4x plus blank, y squared minus 2y plus blank. Going to subtract that 1 and put it on the other side. And then do our plus blank, right? So down here, we've got x and we've got y. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to divide the 4 by 2, right? So that's going to be plus 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Put the 4 in both blanks. Okay, divide the negative 2 by 2. So that's going to be minus 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. So this is 1. And notice again that we've got a -1 and a +1. So that's going to give us 4 down there. Okay, so what's our center going to be? -2, +1. Pull the numbers, change the signs. And our radius is going to be the square root of 4, which is 2. And that's it.